Hello. So I chose second grade to do my word problems. And I had my nephew answer them and my fiance answer them. So I did a child and an adult. Um, Although I knew that my fiance would be able to answer them in his head immediately, it was interesting to see how quickly he came up with the answer versus, a second grader. So the first word problem was called money, money, money. And it says Brian's mom gave him $10, Hillary's mom gave her $15, and Naomi's mom gave her $5. Using the information above, how much more money did Brian get from his mom than Naomi? My fiance immediately said 5, doing the math, 10 minus 5. My nephew, you'll see, wrote down how much each person had and then took the numbers, did the math, subtracted 5 from 10, and realized that Brian got $5 more than Naomi. Problem number 2 is called Reader Jen. Jennifer just bought a new book. Yesterday she read 25 pages. Today she read 15 pages. How many pages has she read so far? Brian immediately said 40. Evan did the math, added 25 and 15, and got 40. Our third problem is called Find Me. Just doing the perimeter for the diagram shown. Um, After giving the dimensions to Brian, he added um, 7 and 5, getting 12, and multiplied it by 2, getting 24. Evan did a little bit differently, which I thought was interesting. Instead of adding 7 plus 7 and getting 14 and doing 5 plus 5 and getting 10, and then adding um, 14 and 10 to get 24, he added 7 and 5 two times in his head to get 12 plus 12 to get 24. So arriving at the same answer, just doing it a little bit differently. And doing the first part of the math in his head, I noticed that he didn't need to write down 7 plus 5. He just knew 7 plus 5 was 12 and that he was going to have to do that twice. Our last problem is called Sweet Tooth. Mia wants to buy a candy bar. The one she wants costs 50 cents and she has 75 cents. How much will she have left over once she buys her candy bar? My fiance knew it right away that she would have 25 cents left over. And Evan did the math. He took the 75 cents that she had, subtracted the 50 cents it would cost her, and came up with that she would have 25 cents left over. Evan did the math a little bit differently than I thought he would on some of these problems. And I spoke to him about it. And when talking to him, he told me, well, I knew 7 plus 5 was 12. And I knew that I had to do that 2 times. So he didn't bother writing it down. And he says that sometimes showing his work helps, like writing down how much money each person got so he can have a visual rather than memorizing how much Brian and Naomi got. So it's a little interesting to see how he did it, and seeing that, an adult can just automatically do it in their head. Um, some of these problems I would probably have to write down. Maybe not um, the number 1 and number 2 and number 4, but number 3 for perimeter, I probably have to write it down just because for me it's easier. So I guess the brains of adults and children work differently just depending on where they are and what they're learning. Younger children are learning this stuff right now, so it's fresh in their mind. Where adults, it's been a while. Perimeter is one of the easier formulas to do, I think. Um, but for something like area or volume, I would have had to write it down. So it's just interesting to see how the brain works differently in an adult versus a child. Thank you.